And
Hello.
we're back.
Number 29. 29. Lucky 29.
Two old men that like to complain.
Yeah, for the 29th time. Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready to complain, Dan.
Yeah, I am. Well, my complaints are less now. Things have gotten better. Things have
Uh,
improved. I've kind of gotten the hang of the RV thing a little bit. Um, it's been an adventure. I can say that. It's been an adventure.
so we haven't done a podcast in 2 weeks. I should tell the people.
Yes,
Um,
I got a cryptic text from Bruce last Saturday. No
yeah,
podcast with a positive COVID tests, and I was like, "Why can't you record?" And then he got a little mad at me, but it's okay.
right.
It's all right. We all have our shit. It's okay. Look, man, when I'm sick, I can't throw stones. When I'm sick,
It
I'm
would have been, honestly, it would have been a real shitty podcast because, yeah, I could sit here and talk, but would it be fucking entertaining or stimulating? No, I would just,
yeah,
it wasn't as bad this time around at all. Like, because last time I had it, it was super bad last year, and I would have like it only lasted like 4 days, right, of symptoms. And one day, it was last time I had it, it was like a whole day was like the spastic cough where like nothing was coming out, but your body's just coughing and coughing.
right.
And it's not the end of the world or anything, but it sucked. This time it was more mild than that, and I didn't do that. I didn't have headaches, nothing like that. It just more than anything, it's like body aches. You just feel like you got hit by a bus. You feel like you're 80 years old and stuff. It was just like, and I was like reading the old things like, well, you got to isolate for 10 days.
No, they changed all that. I think it's 5 now.
Well, here's the thing, though. I liked isolating for 10 days. Like,
Well, yeah. That's different. Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, wow, I have to stay in my room and just
You
do
can't.
absolutely nothing for 10 days. Like, no interaction, no responsibilities around the house, no chores, nothing. Just like fucking just sitting here in bed rot and watch TV and play on my phone for 10 days solid. Okay. But now
Yeah.
party's over. I feel better, of course. It's all good. But Dan, last I talked to Dan, he was like sweating in this hot box out in his property, and he was like he was going to cut in line and paying some guys to come out and build a shade structure over his trailer. And he sent me this picture, and I'm glad to see that the picture that you have lots of space between, right, like the ceiling and the thing.
Yeah, so I absolutely did that. I basically bribed a company to put me at the front of the line come last weekend and put that carport up over the
looks
camper.
tall as fuck though, bro. That like
the legs on it are 14 feet. So at the top of the peak, it's probably 18, something like that, 17.
I see you hung up a shade cloth on. That's got to be the east side or the west side.
That is the east side. That is correct. Yeah. So there is a big window in the back. I put a shade up there. The front is a little more challenging, and we don't. By the time it's really bad out front, it's later in the day and it's not as hot anyway. So that's been less bad. I've learned about 1,000 tricks over the last 2 weeks on how to.
Oh, I bet you learn tricks when you do stuff like this, right?
Yeah. So they make this silver rolled insulation called Reflectix, and
with the bubbles, it looks like bubble wrap.
With the bubbles, and I bought a metric fuck ton of it.
Yeah, you buy it at Home Depot in a roll.
And like that helped. And then what I did was, you can probably tell if you look very carefully at the 2 windows on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
I bought these snap shades, so it's like this thin layer. It almost looks like bug screen, but
it's black.
It blocks heat, and you put it up with these 3M little tabs. Mm-hmm. So I got those done. Basically, it's just the front windows not done, and I'm gonna have a guy probably see if we can improve that. But I mean, look, it's better.
What's the overall? So when you enter this journey, I remember Dan was like on day 3 living in his trailer, and he was like at the end of his rope. It's like only 3 days in, and Dan was ready to like tap out. And he's like, well.
You know what it is? You go into it thinking the problem is going to be the space, the fact that it's small. you go into
It's
it
the
thinking,
temperature, and it's
but
the
that's
fucking.
not it. It's not the space. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to have a little more space, but that's not really the problem. The issue was there's so many little things that go into maintenance on these that you just don't know. And like plumbing.
Well, you don't know. You never lived in an RV before.
Right.
You bought this thing cold, and
Yeah, water, sewage, trying to keep it cool. We'll see how it is in the winter. That's a whole different thing. I suspect it'll be a little easier just because the winters here are mild, and I have two options.
It'll be fine. It does. The trailer probably has a propane heating sort of radiant.
It has both.
Thing.
It has propane and electric, both.
Oh man, you'll be set, dude.
I think the winter
heating's an easier barrier than cooling, as you know. It's always tougher to cool than to heat.
Yes. You know? So it has improved.
Good for you, buddy. What's the overall temperature difference? You said because when you got this shade structure, you're like, the guy told me that it would go down by 10 degrees. He promises to go down.
No.
5?
It has improved for sure. It's easier to keep it. It's easier to keep the place. You're still not keeping up. Like I would keep my house when I had a house at 76. That's not really possible with this. So because outside, this is July. Like it's as bad as it gets right now.
Right.
I'm sure it's the same there. Right.
Yeah,
July and August are the worst.
The worst.
And it's 93, 94 outside every day with a heat index of like 102. Right. So they say that AC can make a 20-degree difference, generally speaking.
Yeah, it's not this open-ended thing where it could be 120 degrees outside and you can have the AC set to 60. It doesn't work that way. It
only works if you're in a house with just badass insulation. I mean,
even out here in Arizona, they tell you like there's no. People tend to think, well, I'll just set my house to 60. No, when it's 120 degrees outside, there's no house unless you live in like a thermal, some sort of structurally engineered. No house is going to do that.
No.
You know.
So, I mean, basically, it's tolerable. It's fine. I mean, I'm only going to have to do one summer in this thing. The permit process on my house has started. We should be able to start building it in August. And he said, you should be able to move in April, May. So I'll need to use some AC in May, but it won't. That's not terrible here in May. It's not terrible here till June, July.
So things are good now.
Things have stabilized for sure. I've learned enough to where I see the fence around the thing.
I love the fence around the thing.
So that's something like when we moved in, we let the dogs out. They're running. We're on 10 acres. We're not getting them. So we learned very quickly, okay, we need a way to contain the dogs. Like it's just when I
moved into, so like when I moved into a little trailer, my first one that I lived in Utah, I don't know, 15 years ago. That's the first thing I did. I had to fucked up. It was kind of like the picture I'm looking at now, but like way poorer. You know, I lived in a fucked up trailer and I had a dog. And the first thing before I met Ro, and the first thing I did was get those green stakes and some rolling fence and just make a little exactly like this perimeter. You let the dog out. It's going to do its business. It's not going to run away. And that's what you do. You know, and this looks like home sweet home. I like it. I like the shade structure.
Yeah.
You can get some little plants, little potted plants, make it nice. I mean, look at you.
You see the deck? We have the deck right below the stairs.
The deck, it's nice. I mean, this is wonderful.
See, I wouldn't have thought of that. That's the wife's idea.
That's the women's touch. That's why they
but
rule.
It's great because now you can wash the dog's feet. They're not going to bring dirt in. You're not stepping into dirt.
Oh, you got to have a deck. When you have a trailer, you need a deck. That's another thing I should have warned you about. Yeah, because otherwise than that, you're walking around in the mud. And then it rains, and that's fun when it rains, you know. And then you.
So here the pigs are in the barn. This is the air conditioned barn.
Oh my God, I want to live in the pig barn. They got some storks living on the roof.
AC. I have an AC and a dehumidifier in there, so that place is nice.
Pigs are living large.
Yeah, they're killing it. But you see my little friends on top there, my little cattle egret buddies.
I love that.
So those are cattle egrets. Those follow cows around. But when you mow, like if you go outside and you mow the grass, they know that when you mow, bugs come out of the woodworks. They follow you around. It's pretty funny. And so,
but you have that expensive lawnmower unit that you like to get out there like a redneck and mow the lawn. It's kind of like a fun
love mowing,
thing.
Man. I put my noise canceling headphones in and listen to podcasts, whatever.
Some fucking winger and then just drive.
No, I listen to podcasts. I put in whatever or music, either way.
What kind of podcast do you listen to, by the way?
I have a few different ones I like. I think you would actually dig a couple of them. I'll have to send them to you. You mean like? I can give you the names. I mean, Do Dissidents is my number one. They're like a couple of left wing guys who, they shit on everybody. There's a few I like. There's a few. And then entertainment wise,
I don't listen to whole podcasts at all, but I'm on TikTok. So the past 10 days I've been sick and bed rotting, and I've been on TikTok. I kid you not. I've had one, the iPhone tells you like how long you've been on the phone and what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I've been on TikTok for 6 hours. Just fucking, and it has turned my brain to jelly, but it does show me little clips of podcasts. One is called Bad Friends. You ever hear that one?
No.
It's two comics, a redheaded dude and a Korean dude, and it's funny. It's called Bad Friends, and they just like make fun of each other, and it's really fucked. But they only show you like little 30-second snippets. And these guys are professional stand-up.
Are you concerned that so much TikTok is just going to ruin your attention span? Like, or is the damage already done?
Oh, please. I'm not concerned about anything on the phone ruining any. The damage has been done, dude. The damage has been done. It's kind of like hearing damage too. Like when I go out, to play drums with the Banditos and I don't wear earplugs, and there's like a young kid next to me wearing earplugs. Why don't you wear earplugs? And I'm like, dude, I played in an industrial band in the 90s, bro. It's gone. Yeah. And I actually have tinnitus. That started about a couple months ago. This that just doesn't go away. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Like the older you get, like the more things just happen, like bad things to you. I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's a new thing that's going to be here for the rest of my life. That's great, But what are you going to do? Fuck it. But anyway,
I didn't wear earplugs as a kid. All those shows I went to, and like, I don't think it fucked me up too bad. But like, it wouldn't. It just doesn't occur to me.
So I am glad to hear, Dan, that Casa de Richmond is doing very well.
It is stabilized. Things are stabilized.
Situation.
I actually dare say we kind of dig it in the sense that, like, we've discussed, because we've talked about later in life, like in another decade, like spending summers in another state because it's so miserable here in the summer. And
absolutely.
But now we're like, I kind of like the RV because if you take the RV, you could just go there and bring all your shit. You have your whole house with you.
And if you don't like your surroundings and the weather gets bad or something's bad around you, you just fucking move. Like Ro and I, have you watched that movie Nomadland, right? You don't watch a lot of movies, Dan, do you?
No,
Every time I mention a movie, Dan's like, no, I haven't seen it. There's a movie called Nomadland, and it's with Frances McDermott, I think is her name, that chick from Fargo.
I've heard of it.
And so it's really good because it's kind of based on a true story about the phenomenon of older people just giving up their homes because of economic reasons or whatever. And they just go and they live out in trailers and whatever. And it's like this new movement that's happening and as you know, Ro and I are planning to do that. We're planning on selling this house in the plan was about 4 years, right? This summer's been so bad in Arizona. Ro looked at me and she's like, let's move it up to fucking 2 years. I got to get out of here. And I'm like, dude, I don't disagree,
Well, I mean, I'm sure you're the same way. I dig it here. I really like it in the winter. And I like the,
I love Arizona in the winter. I love it so much.
I mean, if it's really June, May to some extent, definitely June, July, August, and part of September. Miserable.
I'll tell you this.
But so once you get past that, it's actually really nice. So those 4 months, I'd like to go somewhere else.
So it's funny because I want to talk a little bit about air conditioning because you have had air conditioning problems in keeping your space cool, but for the past 10 days, I've had COVID and we've had a situation here that's kind of similar. We have, as you know, we live in a house. It's got central air, but it's an old house with old central air.
And you don't want to replace it.
Well, it would cost, I don't know, fucking $10,000 to replace it. It does cost that much out here in Arizona. When you want to do it in the summer, they're going to ream you. Oh, it's summertime in Arizona. You want us to get on your roof and replace it on 115 degrees? That's going to be $15,000.
Right.
And they know that you need it. What are you going to do? Say no?
Right.
So we've got the unit in the house is old and it's struggling. You could tell, right? And so it does this thing where if you set it too low, and by the way, it's been 117 degrees out all week. And So
wait, 117 like heat index or actual? That's the temperature.
That's the temperature outside.
Jesus, that's like Death Valley, man. That's what it
No,
was when I was in.
It's been 125 this week.
Well, no, but it was 117 when I was in Death Valley.
Yeah, 100. I mean, 115, 117, 113. These are not uncommon.
That's rough. That's rough.
Summer temperatures. They're not uncommon, and the lows have been 90, 89, 92, and it's bad. So in our air conditioner, now it's one thing that Roe likes to keep it, you know, like not too low because we don't want to have a high energy bill. That's true. But it's another thing when the air conditioning unit is struggling and it's old and it does this thing where it freezes up and seizes up and the pipes freeze over because the Freon is doing something weird. And so like almost every day now, this thing is giving us signs that it's ready to fucking die. You know,
dude, you got to pony up the dough, man. You can't live there without AC.
So we're doing all these things. We're blocking off rooms with sheets, you know, and we're setting it. So now the thing is set for like 79 in the house, 79 or 80. We set it. And so I'm in here with COVID and my room is already hot as hell. And I'm hot in here with like a fever and stuff. And it's 117 degrees outside. And I'm just hoping like if this AC goes down and I'm not feeling well right now and just like, I just fucking take me out. I don't even care anymore. So now that stresses me out. Like if this fucking AC needs to just last, because I don't want to fucking, I mean, if we have to pony up the money, that's a lot of money, man.
No, it shouldn't be 10, but yeah, definitely 8.
No, it's 10.
Really?
It's 10, dude. That's on the low end.
And your house is not big, though. How big's your house?
I don't know. It's like a ranch house with 3 bedrooms.
It shouldn't be 10.
Dude, it's 10, 15.
Well, it is the same. It's hot here, too. I know how much it costs. I've replaced 1 million ACs.
Yeah, but 10, it's not.
If you're getting like a really nice one, it'll be 10. But if you're getting a regular Joe
It's hot in Arizona, but it's not 117. So air conditioning companies know when it's 117 degrees outside, and it's different rates when it's not the summer. If it's the summer, and they're busy, and they're like, well, we can get you in 3 months. They do that, right? Like my air conditioning, like if you call up and say, I live in a house, it's 117 degrees outside, my air conditioning broke, I need a new unit. They're like, well, get in line. You're 3 months out. Maybe I can do something. It's going to be 10 grand. Well, for 15 grand, we can cut you in front of the line. Just like how you paid more to cut in front of the line for the shack, you know.
Right. The shack.
I mean, the shade structure. Forgive me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We're doing okay.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, you're trying to keep it going for 2 more years by hook or by crook, whatever it takes. Right.
Basically. That's the thing. We're just gonna fucking, and then we're gonna sell the house in the winter, and whoever's gonna come look at the house be like, "That's nice," and we're like, "Yeah, just don't turn on the AC."
Well, they'll test it and they'll bitch at you.
They'll test it in the winter. It'll work just fine.
Yeah, no, they'll just make sure cold air's coming out.
Yeah, it works, and it'll work just fine. Yeah, when it's 117, will it work? That's not going to be our problem. We'll be fucking in Idaho by then. No, Ro and I are gonna get 2 little trailers.
Yeah, you told me. I think. I mean, the wife and I have talked about that too. Instead of when we decide in the summer to go somewhere, rather than like buying a place somewhere and having that be our permanent, I'm really thinking about it. It would be fun just to take a trailer. Just to take
Dude, you're gonna, RV. I mean, just by living in the RV, it starts to grow on you. Like, because you know what? It's smaller and it's easier to sort of upkeep. You know what I mean? Easier.
Well, yeah, that's the good news. Like, keeping shit clean is easier. Shit. Like, putting shit away. Like, you always have to put shit away because if you don't, it's going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think you make a good point. I wouldn't want something this big to take with me, but this thing.
Yeah, Ro and I each gonna get. The plan is me and Ro each gonna get. She wants to get like a 14-foot trailer. I'm gonna get like a 17-foot trailer. I just want something small enough to where I can draw in there. But before it got really hot, you know what I mean? And I was it's been bothering me lately how hot it's been. And of course, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And so I used to have these arguments with Ro, like when we're like, let's go live in no man's land life, and she wants to go where it's chilly. And I'm like, I don't want to go where it's real chilly. But as you know, and as you're learning, when you're in an RV, it's much easier to heat it up than it is to cool it down.
Well, I will find out. I mean, I haven't been in it for a winter, but I think you're probably right.
But if you're off grid, right? So say you don't have any hookups.
Oh,
and so like
propane only.
An air conditioner is not going to work. You're going to need.
You have to have a hookup for that. Yeah, I have a permanent line. I have a hard line electric, hard line septic also.
Yeah.
So I don't have
no pooping in a bucket for Dan.
When we dump this, I have to pull the valves, but it's already connected. I don't have to connect it, disconnect it.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to like poop in a bucket.
I just got to empty it every so often. I'm learning about maintenance. I ordered some stuff that you can flush down the toilet that'll keep it black. I mean, I'm going to sell this thing in less than a year. When we're moving in the house, this thing is gone.
But Dan, but when they tell you the house is going to be they're telling you, we're going to build your house in a year. You know damn well
No. I asked him, give me realistic best case, realistic worst case. And the guy's a straight shooter. He's not that kind of guy. Like he would tell me. He would tell me. And I said, I just need to know what's realistic best case, what's realistic worst case. And he said, realistic best case is April, realistic worst case is Memorial Day, end of May. So
you're gonna fucking put that house up quick. Good for you, buddy.
It's not that quick. I mean, we're starting it in a month. So like that's 9 months to build a single house. Like when they build these houses in these huge subdivisions, it takes them 4 months. So like this is
no shit.
Yeah, when they slap up, like you go to those big new subdivisions, those take like 4 or 5 months to build tops. Yeah,
I didn't know
because they're cookie cutter. I mean, it's like bam, bam, bam. But yeah, no, I if I have to spend another summer in this, I'm going to be very upset.
So what else is new in the world of Dan? I mean, I'm just getting over COVID. I'm feeling better, and I'm happy to be doing the podcast to speak with Dan again. Dan gave me a hard time for having COVID.
Yeah.
Why don't you fucking wear a mask? Why don't you just pony up?
Yeah. You mean
you fucking...
Hey, Bruce, mask it or casket. I mean, that's all I have. That's
No, my sister, she's a nurse, right? And she is very, very aware of this whole situation. And I told her, I'm like, well, I've got COVID. I got to stay in here for 10 days. And she's like, no, you don't. 5 days is the new, just stay in there for 5 days. You're good to get out. Why don't you go out and do stuff around the house? I'm like, no, I'm going to stay in here for 10 days.
No. I mean, that's perfectly reasonable to me.
But you know what? I'm really happy that Ro didn't get it, because when Ro gets COVID, she gets these fucking migraines that are just splitting. And I feel so bad because I'm the one who gives it to her. So I've been fucking, I stay in this fucking room. It's great. Yeah. I get my meals and I scurry in with my meal. Right. And I just fucking eat in here. There's like dirty dishes all over my filthy room and stuff like this. It's like a fucking college dorm room. It's been great. I just watch tons of TV.
I mean, I've just been, we got everything kind of back to where there's some semblance of normalcy. You know what's funny? So I took this new gig, as you know, right? Mm-hmm. I left Estee Lauder where I was working before, and I took this gig, and it's good. Everyone's nice. It's all good, whatever. And I've been just working, doing my thing. Out of the blue, I get an email from a recruiter about another gig.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I'm really not looking. But I have a rule. I never say no to talking, ever. I mean, so
always look.
It doesn't matter how happy I am. I'm always going to say yes to talking, right?
Right.
Hear what you have to say. Can't hurt, right? It's crazy. Like all those weeks I went through shit dealing with just the worst, and now I'm not even looking and I get contacted. It's funny how
that's how it works.
Yeah. But no, I don't think I would do anything. I mean, the people that I'm working for now are super nice, and I don't want to fuck them over. But I'm talking to them. What the hell? Got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose, right?
I haven't been doing shit, man. I got no income.
Get closer to the mic for me. You're getting kind of far back. Yeah, I haven't
been check 1 2 sibilance.
Yeah, well, I imagine you're bed rotting while I'm out here sweating my balls off, installing sunshades and whatever else.
No.
Yeah. Oh, here's another thing that happened that was fun. Learned another thing which you might be fascinated by. So out here where I live, you have to have a well. There's no city water.
Yeah.
So no big deal. I've had wells before. What I did not know, maybe you didn't know this, maybe you know this.
Let me see if I know it or not.
So I had this well dug and installed, I don't know, a month ago, long before we moved in here. And we move in and I start using it. Now, what I now know is when
you got to get the water tested.
Well, no, yes, but that's not it. When you first dig a well, you have to run the fucker for like a day or two.
Oh, flush it out. Oh.
I didn't know that.
Were you drinking this water?
We're drinking the water. Everything's fine. No one's getting sick. It's all good.
Yeah.
And then I had a guy out, my water treatment guy. I said, hey, we're going to do a softener and this and that. Because in Florida, the water's very hard. I said, can you test it? And blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, I'll test it. He tests it, blah, all this, that, and the other. He calls me on a Monday, a week ago tomorrow. And he's like, you need to stop using that water immediately. And I'm like, what? You have E. coli. And so I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, you're drinking E. coli water with Kara?
So, well,
nice.
No. So I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me the water has E. coli? Yes. So here's the thing. No one has gotten sick. No one's had diarrhea. Not us, not the pigs, not the dogs. Nobody. So I'm like, that's weird. Like, if you have E. coli, you're going to get sick. So I'm like, okay. He goes, at the time, he never communicated to me, you need to run that well for fucking 2 days before I'll test it. I had him test it like as soon as we moved in. And what I later learned, I called a different guy because this guy said you need to get it shocked, chlorinated. Chlorinating a well basically means just dumping bleach down there, just cleaning it up.
Everything.
Kills anything that's in the pipe when they throw them and they dug it, all this. So we chlorinate the well. The guy comes back, we flush the well, and he says to me, he goes, you probably never had E. coli. He said, probably because you didn't run the well for 2 days. His test was getting trace samples of whatever was in the soil when they dug the well. And this was all farmland for 100 years. So this is all God knows what the hell was in the soil.
Yeah.
So the guy comes back, retests it, and it's clear.
Of course.
So most likely, if I had just known, run it for 2 days, just run it, open it up and let it go for 2 days, we would have avoided all this. But like, no one told me that. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Yeah. I know a lot about. I did know that. I know that when we looked into this, because Ro and I have some off-grid land, and we wanted to get a well dug out there because there's no water. And it was like, we learned a lot. That's like, well, first you got to have a guy find out where to drill, right? And there's literally a guy in Utah, they do that thing with the stick. Like they have people that have like that Y stick.
Oh, because of elevation. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know where the water is.
That gets expensive up there.
So really bad. And so when they drill, I also learned this. It's like, we want to drill for water. How much does it cost? Well, it's by the foot. And there's no guarantee, by the way. So you could have a guy out there, figure out where to drill. Say, okay, let's drill here. And then you pay him X amount of dollars per foot. He keeps going. The money's racking up. You don't have water yet. You decide it's like gambling. You throw more money at it. You go down more and more feet. And then at some point, there's just not water. And they go, sorry, pay up. So it's a gamble. And so we're like, no, we ain't going to do that. And then, of course, you got to flush it out. Just like when you buy a new fucking garden hose.
Well, I didn't.
You got to fucking, there's all kinds of chemicals in there. Just trying to just flush it out.
It makes sense, but I didn't know to do that. And so.
City folk.
I guess, I had a well at my last house.
Dan, I'm glad you don't have E. coli.
No, but this is one good thing about Florida is there's never a guarantee, of course. Like there is a guarantee. It's typically 100 feet, 120 feet, and you're in the aquifer, right?
That's fucking low, dude. That's amazing that there's water 100 feet down.
There's a lot of negatives about Florida, but one of the positives, you never got to worry about water here. Like you just have to dig 100 feet and you're into the aquifer.
God damn.
As long as there's no issues with the aquifer, you're good. And so water's fine now. The only real thing that sucks is when you chlorinate it, which we probably didn't have to do, it interacts with the iron and it makes the water orange for a period. It's safe. It's fine. You can drink it. But
is it still orange right now?
A little bit. Yeah. But the problem is doing laundry. Your whites become orange. Yeah.
Kara's probably not happy with that.
She does not like that. No, she's displeased.
No. Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's been this move. There's been 1,000 things like that. Something I did not know.
Dude, it's the water. It's the fucking. There's all kinds of things. Now let me bring something else to your attention. You might not know about it. I was looking at that picture. So you got the trailer, and the trailer has pullouts. These things that stick out.
Slide outs. Yes,
slide outs.
Right here.
Did anyone bring to your attention that if you live at a long period of time and those slide outs are out and they stay out, that there could be a sagging that happens if you don't periodically push them in and out, that if you just keep them out and it stays that way for a year, and at the end of the year you go to slide them back in, it's kind of like it might settle and sag and move around a
I'll
little
have
bit.
to ask, that is one thing that no one has told me. I'll have to ask that. It might be because this is a brand new trailer.
Yeah.
It may be that is not the case. I will ask that. They
ask
did,
about
the
it.
Only thing they said
ask about that,
because I told them when I bought it, I said I'm living in it for a year. They said the only thing you really got to worry about is if you can cover the top of it, which is what I did.
Oh, good.
Because
that's
if you 100% don't cover the top of it, you're gonna get sun damage and wear. They did not say anything. I'll have to ask that question. That's a good question.
It's a good, because you can picture it, right? If it's coming out and it sags just a little bit, and it stays that way for a year, and contraction, expansion, weather, and it's this big heavy thing that's got to go on tracks, and it's like, oh, at the end of the year, let's fucking move it.
Well,
and you go to slide it back in again, and it doesn't work.
The good news is, if it does happen, this has a 3-year warranty. So like,
you're like, fuck it. So
one of the benefits of buying new, it's not my problem. But I'm really the way I go through life in general is I try to put myself in what I call a no-fail environment. I try to set up a situation where I'm not going to fuck up and do dumb shit. And so,
good for you, Dan.
I wish I had known ahead of time about you need the carport. I would have gone, if I could go back in time, I would tell myself, A, run the well for 2 days. B, get a carport. C, get a hard line sewage to septic to the RV so you don't have to fucking do your shit. Get your hard electric line. There's so many things I've had to do and hustle and get done. It's pretty much good now. I don't knock wood. I don't think we're going to run into too much other shit.
No, you're good, buddy.
I just got to make it, 10, 11 months from now. It's really what I got to do. And once the summer's over, it's going to be much nicer. I mean,
so other than our RV talk, what else is going on that we talk about on the podcast? I got nothing really. I've just been suffering from. I've been just dealing with COVID, sitting here bed rotting.
Well, I'm going to see my parents tonight. So my parents now will the only place they will go to eat. Let's see if you want to guess. You want to play 20 questions and guess?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. There's only one place they will eat. Do you want to just guess the place?
Yeah, P.F. Chang's.
No, are you okay? There is no P.F. Chang's in that town. But
where are you? Is it in Florida?
It's an hour from here, smaller town. There's no P.F. Chang's. So it's a well-known national chain. So at least see if you can guess. This is the only place
Chili's.
they will. No, Chili's. Come on.
Red Lobster.
No.
I know it. It's Olive Garden.
No.
Am I on the right track with
this?
this?
I'm gonna give you a hint. Okay.
Give me a hint.
It's a place that if you go there for dinner, it's gonna be really quiet.
It's gonna be quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not gonna. But it's not gonna be low class though, right? Like, is it? It's the Cracker Barrel.
No, you're getting closer, but it's not Cracker
Barrel. It's the Golden Corral.
No, Golden Corral. It's a buffet. They're not going to a buffet.
I don't know. I tell me.
IHOP.
Oh, IHOP.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
is it so? Hold on. Your parents. You're going to meet your parents at by the way, this podcast is always good when we talk about food. It should be like a food podcast.
They will only go to IHOP. That is it. IHOP. And if I want to meet them for dinner, 4:30 sharp.
Oh, I love that, dude. You know what? I gotta be honest. I am 100% on board with the 4:30 dinner.
Yeah.
I love going to dinner at 4:30. I love it.
No, I mean, look, there is
no one's there. There's not going to be any kids there.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
And you're going to get a table. It's going to be quiet.
Yeah.
And IHOP's good because they serve eggs and pancakes all day long. You can have eggs and pancakes if you want.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm not saying it's IHOP per se, but they won't go anywhere else. So it's interesting.
Sometimes you want variety. But you know how older people are, just like Ben and Ray Stern. You get sort of stuck in this is what you like. You like what you like, and you don't want to fucking. Yeah. When you get older like that, it's like, I don't want to take any risk on a new place. Like, if I take a risk on a new place, it's going to suck. IHOP, in their eyes, and I get it, it's the old dependable. There's not going to be any curveballs. You know what's on the menu. You got it memorized at this point. I'm 100% with that. I don't like trying new fucking places at this point. Hell no, dude. So what happens? So you go to meet the iPod, and there's a lot like Ben and Ray Stern. They probably show up, and it's like, "Hello, Dan," and Kara will be there, and it's just the four of you sit in a booth, and you and Kara on one side, staring at those two on the other side.
Yeah, yeah. And my mother,
and you sit across from your dad.
My mother's become very curmudgeonly, so like, even if something little goes wrong with the meal, like
you're gonna hear about it.
She makes this face, like,
right.
It's just, yeah. But no.
What do they order at IHOP?
What
the fish?
They order?
The halibut?
Mother gets a waffle with whipped cream.
So it's like a dessert. Yeah.
Yeah, it is like a dessert. Dad, what does Dad get? I don't remember. But like, yeah, it's.
Yeah, what the fuck do you get though? Because like, I mean, most shit is pork in the IHOP.
No, they have dinner food. You can get like a burger. You can get shrimp. Whatever.
Yeah, the burgers at IHOP are not good though, bro.
No, they are not.
They are not. And the shrimp is questionable.
Well, they have turkey bacon at IHOP. That I'll get.
Okay, the turkey bacon. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you're going to IHOP to meet them. That's very nice. And Kara will go. Like, does Kara not want to go? Does Kara like tell you like, I don't really want to go to have fucking dinner with your parents at the IHOP? Like, is it something that she just sort of she just goes?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Because my whole thing on parents, like, I would rather live close, and when I see them, it's for an hour,
Yeah.
So it's fine. Like, I would not like it if we lived far away and I had to stay for a weekend. So
I like going to IHOP, man. If I went to like once in a while, Ro and like we rarely eat out now, because me and Ro are cheap. That's number one. Number two, I have a hard time with the prices that are like the last time I went to a restaurant, I forget what I went to a restaurant by myself when I was traveling, and it probably was like an IHOP type of restaurant. Oh, it was a Denny's. Last time I was traveling, I was in Palm Springs. I went to a Denny's, and I like sitting on the counter at the Denny's, right? Where like the old single men sit, the counter, so you don't have to sit in a booth, and
I do. Yeah, I love the counter.
I love the counter. Plus the counter, like you get the coffee immediately. You can see what's going on. It's easy to get people's attention. You're looking at the cook back there. You give him the nod, so he hooks you up, And I got the Grand Slam at Denny's and just one cup of coffee. Dude, with the tip, it was like $34. And I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. And I woofed down the Grand Slam, and it was like they gave me you'd think with the Grand Slam, you'd be stuffed when you got out of there.
Yeah,
not
everything.
The
like
they don't give you enough food.
Man, inflation is real. And it is, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, because we eat out a lot. It wasn't that long ago that your average meal for me and her to eat out, including tip, was like $35, $40, right? Now, minimum 50 to 60.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I feel so bad for anyone in the service industry.
Yeah. No,
it's 20% always. I don't give a shit if they serve me a rat on a stick. I'm going to be nice about it.
Look, if they suck donkey dicks, I'll give them 15%. That's as low as I would go.
Okay, I'll do that too.
But
I will never. I will never do that.
Yes, if they're mildly competent, 20% at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I went and got a haircut semi recently, and I found this place. That gives haircuts, that does a nice fade, and they only charge most places around here for a haircut for a fade. That shit's gonna cost you $30. Even the cheap places,
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. So I found one place that's like from the 50s, and it's like really old, like that, like it's from the 50s, and they charge $18 for a fade. I'm like, oh, I fucking love that.
You know what the place here in town? I don't get haircuts, obviously, but I drove by. You know what they charge here at the barbershop here in town? $7.
Oh my God, that's cheaper than Mexico. I like going to Mexico to get my haircut too. That's the best. When I go to Mexico to get medications and like sweaters, and then I get a haircut in Mexico, and it's like $10. And they don't speak a lick of English, and I just I need a haircut. And you can't explain to them how you want it cut. You just like, well, what I get, whatever I fucking get.
El pelo.
But I do love. but yeah, I can't go to restaurants anymore because it's just too expensive and stuff. So now, thank God I've got a partner like Ro who just like she loves to cook. Like she's just like always making me enchiladas, and she's making me fucking.
Funny you mentioned that. We've learned that cooking is not smart here because
heats up the whole place.
Now look, so we've decided, all right, from now on, if we're cooking, it's going to be like in an air fryer or in a hot pot.
Yeah, I will tell you, in the RV, I could have told you that. In the RV, you don't ever want to use that stove. You can use the stove top. You can make stuff in a skillet, but to turn on the oven to cook something for 30 minutes, you got to be crazy. There ain't no way.
No, microwave's fine. You know, we would use an air fryer or like a crock pot. That's fine.
Oh yeah, skillet, something on a skillet, like get yourself, like a fucking iron skillet type of pan and fry stuff up, Fuck yeah, dude. You know what you need to do, bro? Get yourself an outdoor barbecue type deal, and you'll be loving life because you put it on that porch you got out there, and you grill some vegetables out there, some tortillas and stuff. Oh, it'll be living high on the hog. Get some lawn chairs out there.
Yeah.
Get some virgin pina coladas out there. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. No, we got there's little awnings that come out. Yeah. So.
Hey, you want to talk about something that we don't talk about much because it always ends in disaster. Let's talk about the last day of the Republican National Convention with Hulk Hogan and Kid Rock.
What that was? You know what that was? You know what that was, right?
It was the movie Idiocracy.
It's President Camacho.
It was
great.
It was 100%.
Into my veins. Make us a parody of ourselves.
Oh my god!
Right?
Dude.
Make us a parody.
That was horrified. I couldn't believe it because I couldn't bring myself to watch it. But of course, when you're on TikTok all day long for 8 hours a day, they're showing you clippets of it, and I was like, oh.
Well, it just came out just now that Biden is dropping out. So,
dude, really, it broke just now.
Just now. So.
Fuck! I've been keeping up on this.
So this is going to be entertaining because they are literally going to just.
Dan, did this just came through on Twitter?
It's just someone texted me and I just looked. It's official.
No fucking way! Really?
So it's going to be awesome because they're going to just install somebody next month at the convention. No vote, no election.
Kamala.
I don't know. She can't win. So
yes, she can.
No, her polling's worse than his. So
how can you trust polling? Who the fuck? Let me ask you this.
I trust polling.
Have you ever been polled? Has anyone ever contacted you?
Yes, I have.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that happen? Does the phone ring?
It's usually phone. Yeah. So the thing with polls is
hold on.
You can't trust an individual poll, but if you look at 10 of them and you look at the average.
Let me ask you this. So your phone rang and you answered a number that you didn't recognize?
Yeah, it was a server. It was a poll. I forget who it was. Mine, the one I answered was a state election. It wasn't national.
But in general, when your phone rings and it's a number that you don't recognize, do you pick it up?
No.
Well, how did you pick up this number?
I mean, I hear you. I'm just saying polling is the method that we use as a society to take the temperature on who's winning and who's losing.
And I will say this. That's fine. I'll say this.
It's generally off, but not by that much.
Yeah, but there's a demographic of people, depending on you're older or younger. And I will tell you this. Anyone 45 years old and younger is not picking up that phone if the phone rings and they don't recognize the number. But
here's the thing, Bruce.
One's picking up the phone.
Young people don't vote either. So that works out because you know who votes.
Yeah.
Boomers fucking vote. Whereas 20-somethings don't vote.
That's going to change this year though, man.
I hope. But it hasn't yet. It hasn't yet. Bernie would have been president.
Read me a blurb. What did your friends say? They texted you.
I'll go on Twitter, but I mean,
I just started another Twitter account after being booted off for calling Elon's head to be guillotined off.
Here it is. It's from Biden himself. My fellow Americans, blah, blah, blah. Today,
really?
Strongest economy in the world, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't have smiled at you, blah, blah, blah. For now, I expect my gratitude, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Pass the torch, blah, blah, blah.
Wow. I've been waiting for. I knew it was going to happen. You know what? I knew it was going to happen.
He's done. He's toast. It's the thing that's funny about this is, here's what. And I know you're a Trump hater. I hate everybody's.
I am. I'm a Trump hater.
Here's what I do not understand, and I wish someone would explain to me. Okay. So let's put this in terms of football, right? Let's say I hate the Georgia Bulldogs. I hate them. Hate them. If I want to beat Georgia, I want the best possible quarterback I can possibly have. I want to go get the best, most accurate,
put your
athletic
best guy on the field. Correct.
But the Democrats did not have a primary. They had a guy who's 81 with 35% approval, where 2/3 of his own party didn't want him to run again, who is wildly unpopular, and they didn't even have a primary. They could have had a primary. They didn't. They didn't have one. Now, my question is, if this orange guy is so bad and awful and scary and terrible, wouldn't you want to get the best possible person to run against him? And now they have a shot at that, I guess. But the problem is now you're just installing someone next month, literally plucking somebody out there, I don't know who, and just installing them as the nominee. No election, no primary. Like, I just don't understand that party. I don't understand why they won't have a primary.
I mean, if you're asking me to explain it or defend them, I can't, because
it just doesn't make any sense. Because if he's so bad and so terrible, and we have to beat him by all means necessary, you would think they would have said last year, you know what, this guy's old, he's not all there. Everyone knows he's not all there. He's unpopular. We need a primary, so let's have a primary. Let's just say everyone.
It doesn't make any logical sense that it didn't get done,
and that's why I hate them, because I think they did it on purpose. I think because they wanted to install.
Why is my phone? My phone is fucking blowing up right now.
They want you to run for president, Bruce. They're trying to get you. They want the Boyd.
I'm getting the same sort of things. I was texting my sister. She's like, Biden's stepping aside. Why my phone's blowing up on that too. No, but I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, they fucked up. It's kind of like it's funny. The sports analogy is funny too, because it's very relatable when you talk about it. Sports analogy. So like, you got one team you should be able to defeat, right? Like, they should be able to defeat the team. So what do? Do you put your best guys out on the field, or do you fuck around with some new signing, or just you fuck it? Like, there's a lot of basketball stories out there and a lot of NFL stories where the coach fucks up and makes a decision.
So here's my question, right? Here's my question. Now they have a blank slate. Now look, they can't have an election. It's too late to have an election, a primary election, but they can go into the convention and they can pick whoever. What if it's Hillary again for the third fucking time?
So this is really interesting, because this is new terrain on a lot of different sides, right? Like, going into this election is going to be, as far as an entertainment value thing, it's great.
It's amazingly good. You got Idiocracy. We've got
Idiocracy on the one side. We've got a guy like it's just insane, like insane criminal. Insane, a cult on one side, and the other side they're fumbling the ball. It's like a comedy of errors.
They're all cults. They're both cults. You have two cults. Yeah. You have the pro-orange cult and you have the anti-orange cult, and they're both awful. They both are obsessed with this fucking guy.
One's we disagree. One's more awful than the other. You think they're equally awful?
The anti's worse, and I'll tell you why.
No.
The anti tends to be rich folks who actually have a lot of power, and all they care about is this one guy. Like, what do you think that if this one guy tomorrow says, you know what, I'm going to drop out too, he's gone. You think our problems are gone? Oh, we're good now. Everything's cool. All good. It's not. The problem is still going to be there. The problem is we have fucked our working class for 30 years. And
we argue about this all the time in past podcasts. I don't want to go down that hole again.
No, but I'm just saying, it's one guy. He's not going to be there forever. And the problem is not going away when he goes away. And certainly you agree with me there, that him going away does not fix our fucking problems.
No, here's the thing. After the assassination attempt, there'd be another dude. Like, the MAGA party's there. It ain't just Trump. It's the MAGA party.
But here's my question.
That ain't going anywhere.
Here's what's so fucked up, right? Who's worse? The MAGA people, the Trump cult, or the people they supplanted in the party, who are the pro-war Iraq war neocons? The Bush Cheneys. I'm telling you, the Bush Cheneys are way worse than the Trump people. Not even close. they took us into a war that killed 500,000 fucking people for no reason, just to make money. Like, it's those pro-war Republicans. That's where they used to be. Like when I was a kid, that's what they were. They were the pro-war party, and now
phone's fucking.
Everyone's texting you. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
So here's what I'm saying: watch closely, because if they really want to win the election, they'll come up with somebody younger, who is a new face, because people want change, right?
People want younger. So here's what I'm thinking. I've been following this a little bit.
But if it's Hillary, I'm going to laugh.
Hillary's going to be a disaster.
I'm going to laugh my ass off.
I don't think it's going to be Hillary. I think what we're going to see. Here's my prediction.
Okay.
It's going to be Camilla. They're going to get Camilla. She's going to, and we're going to get Camilla Harris out there, and her vice president is going to be probably Gavin Newsom or a guy like that. It's going to be a white male, and they're both going to be young.
Well, it can't be Gavin because they're from the same state. You can't have them from the same state.
It'll be a guy like that. I forget the guy's names, but it'll be some white guy.
Well, running her makes the most sense for many reasons, because legally she has access to all the money. Because you can't just.
And that, well, I was just going to say, because I saw that on the news, they were saying like, yeah, if it's Kamala, she's got access to all that money, and that's what drives elections. As we know, Elon is now given 35 million.
She can win either, but we'll see. The problem you're going to run into is, no matter who they nominate, the Democrats are the party in power, quote unquote. They're the incumbent, right? They're the ones who have it now, and this is a change election. People are pissed, so they're going to have to find someone who can run as if they haven't been in power. Does that make sense? They would have to run as if they want change.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. As far, like I just said, as far as just an entertainment value of watching all this going on, it's
amazing. It's amazing.
We've never seen anything like it.
You got President Camacho on one side.
On both sides.
The other side, you have the old guy. You have a party who doesn't want to have a primary. You have all these rich assholes in Manhattan who are like foaming at the mouth. And
Amaga, you've got the rise of Christo-fascism. They're going to take it back to, taking away women's rights and, reporting gay people. And I can't handle it.
You fall for all this dumb shit.
I fall for it. Do you have any gay friends? Any people of color that are friends?
And
do you know what it's like to be in their shoes?
No, I'm not.
You don't. You're a white male.
But I do know that what most people care about and what really matters is the economy. And the powers that
That's not true.
The powers that be want you and me screaming at each other about gays and trans toddlers rather than screaming at the elites who have fucked us for 30 years. That is the truth.
Maybe the powers that be definitely want to use things to divide us. That's true.
Yes.
But maybe there are issues that divide us. Maybe there is a segment of them that already exists. Just like back in slavery days, there was a group of Americans who decided it's not right to keep black people as servants. And there was another group of Americans that decided, you know what? I don't think that's right. And those two sort of schools of thought didn't really jive with each other. And it was a thing that happened. And so now you have that same thing that's happening. It's not something that the elites just made up to fucking cause problems. You got a group of people who decided we want basic human rights for people, all people. And then you got another group of people that are like, no, let's bring us back to the 50s.
Nobody wants
and those two people.
It's not like I don't support those people. The people that you're talking about, I don't support them either. But I don't support them because they're the same. They're for the same shitty economic policies they've always been for. And what I care about is things like healthcare, wages, and war. Those are my big three. And I am a believer, as we discussed.
Human rights, number one.
Well, neither major party gives a living fuck about human rights. What they care about is
one cares dramatically more about it than the other.
I disagree. They care about their corporate donors. Period. That's it. That's it. And the donors don't care. The donors don't give a shit about gay rights, one way or the other. Like that doesn't affect their bottom line. They don't care. They just want to keep the gravy train. So I won't vote for either party.
Of course, there's like an elite. There's always the big powers that be that own everything, and it comes to that, and that's where we always talk about this when we argue about it. Is like that just comes back down to capitalism. That has nothing to do,
correct,
with one side or the other.
No.
I mean, if you ask me what the solution to it is, all destroy this whole system and get rid of capitalism 100%.
Well, I think capitalism can work as long as it's like what we had in the 50s and the 60s, where it wasn't corporations writing our laws for us and creating a society like we have now, where you have immense
what we have
wealth.
Now, right, but it started that way in the 50s and 60s. What we have now is the natural extension. This is how capitalism works. People just want to keep making more money for themselves. They want growth. The shareholders want growth at all expenses. And this is the natural progression of it.
It is. Sadly, that's true. I'm just saying,
it's a flawed system. With
strict controls, it can be a lot better. But yeah, I agree with you.
It's never going to work, strict controls.
We agree on that. And there's no way out of this.
100%.
We're too far gone. Like, if enough people woke the fuck up and stopped voting for these parties.
So when I was thinking about this election, it's like, oh, Trump might win. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's going to win. He's going to win.
No, he won't. A part of me was thinking,
want to bet?
I'll bet you $20.
It's a change election. I'm just saying, there's no way.
Will you bet me $20?
I'll bet you more than 20. I'll bet you.
No, Dan, I don't have $20. I'll bet you $20. All right, $20 is a big bet for me.
$20. You got it. You're on.
I got. All right. Here's the thing.
It's a change election. That's all I'm telling you.
Do you ever watch? Do you watch a lot of? You don't watch a lot of movies, do you? Every time I bring up a movie or a show, you don't.
Sometimes
watch
it depends on what it is, right? Like if it's Star Trek.
You watch a lot of like Netflix and stuff, like series on Netflix and stuff.
Sometimes it depends. Sometimes not much.
You didn't watch that one called The Handmaid's Tale? You ever watch that one?
Oh God, don't start with that shit. Oh my God, you fall for every trope that you just dive right in. Dive right in.
You're
gonna make me. You and I are the funny thing about you and me is we agree on the big shit. Like I'm pro-choice, just like you are. The difference is the Democrats could have solved this in 2009. They had a supermajority. They could have codified it, made it permanent. They chose not to because they want your fucking donations and they want to scare you into voting. They did.
Why are you so upset when I just bring up? Did you ever watch?
Because Handmaid's Tale, while it's a cute little fun story, is used by these dumb shit corporate media types to scare voters and keep them yelling at their neighbors. My number one thing is your neighbor is not your enemy. Your enemy are the elites who own this country. That's your enemy. Well, not your neighbor. Your neighbor is at worst a useless idiot.
You're clearly all riled up about this. I had never seen this show before. I had seen these never.
Oh, okay. All right. I take it back. It's on Twitter. Like
no. I mean, you're right. Here's the thing. I had seen these memes about it, about the women with the red cloaks, and I'd never really understood what are these memes? Like what it has something to do with being regressive and going back to the 1800. I had no idea. Of course, I'm not going to read the book. I didn't know what it was about. So I had COVID recently, and I was like, I just binged the whole fucking 5 seasons in a couple nights. And so I just had watched the whole thing, and it was compelling television.
I watched the first season or two. I tried. The problem with it for me is I hate the message. And I feel like there's so much out there in entertainment that is meant as a culture war extension to get us to hate each other. And my entire MO in life is to get people to hate the elites, not to hate your neighbor.
Well, I mean, that's true. But I mean, and I'll say it again, like you're right. The elites are definitely using our differences to keep us fighting each other because it helps them. I'm going to give you that 100%. But it's not something that they created out of the clear blue sky. There are two sides.
They did. But well, not the issues. But you can study. This has been studied. I've told you this. There have been studies done on prevalence of certain phrases in corporate media, like Fox and MSNBC and all of them, CNN. And starting in about 2011-ish, everything changed. 2012, everything changed. And you know why? Because of Occupy Wall Street on one side and the Tea Party on the other side. They got scared because that was as close as we've ever come to left and right agreeing on something, because they both did agree that the bailouts were bad and that the 1% was the problem. They all agreed on that one thing, and that scared the owners. The owners can't have us pissed at the 1%. That fucks them, because if we all really got together.
I'll agree with that.
So they started pumping all this stuff. Chicks with dicks. Oh, they're coming for you. They're coming for your chicks with the dicks. They're coming for your kids and your babies, and they're making you trans and all this crazy shit. And
I mean, it's not so much that, it's just that the when you've got these guys on the floor of the Congress stopping in prayer, like that's my main problem. I don't
either.
These guys like Mike Johnson and having prayer moments on the floor.
But that's phony, right? That's phony. Like,
it doesn't.
Those guys are bought and paid for. They vote based on what the donors want them to do. The donors are happy for the culture war shit, because it takes the attention off the shit that they don't want you talking. They don't want you and I talking about bank bailouts and wages. They want us talking about, fuck you. You got a chick with a dick, and you prayed to Jesus. That's
Dan, are you focused on chicks with dicks? Because I mean, I it's funny, because when you're on TikTok late at night, you start seeing all like this weird kind of content, right? And they show like these.
You and I are of one mind on the issues. We agree on the important stuff. We're both pro-choice. We're both pro civil liberties.
Dude, I want abortion. I want abortion for people. I want women to have health care.
We should have had that, but in 2009, the Democrats decided it was more important to fundraise, and they didn't. And because the Republicans have been saying for 50 years they want to overturn that. That's not new, and so. In 2009, they had a supermajority. Obama ran on this. He said,
that was 2009. But what are you going to do about it now? You got the MAGA party saying we want to take away abortion.
I am not voting Democrat, because I know they won't do shit. I'm voting third party. They won't do anything. They will tell you. The fact that Biden would get up and say, if you reelect him, he'll codify Roe. Fucker, you're president now. You were president 2 years ago when you had majorities. You don't even bring it to the floor. He didn't do the minimum wage increase like he said. These people are all awful. They all are awful. They don't give a fuck about any of us. They're all terrible to different degrees. They're terrible for different reasons. But it's cartoonish bullshit, all of it. That's all I'm saying. And this is getting boring, so I don't want to go too far. But anyway, yes, he's out. We have a $20 bet.
Right.
He's out.
I got a $20
agree
bet
with you. I agree that it'll be Kamala. I agree.
Oh, it's going to be Kamala.
I agree with you.
For the money. I mean, I 100% agree with you because of that reason only. Money. I mean,
two reasons. One, the money. And two, none of the young stars in the party will want to run, because they're not stupid, and they know that for any of them, Gavin Newsom, any of them, to jump in now or in August, it's an uphill battle. They don't have name rec right now. They won't have access to the money. No. And Trump is too far ahead, and it's stupid. They would rather wait 4 more years and then run.
Yeah,
so
they build. I mean, they had. You're right. They had all this time to fucking develop a superstar, and they just sat on Joe Biden. It's like, oh my God, what are you doing?
They did it to themselves.
They flubbed the ball. They flubbed the ball. It's like when you go to the sports analogy, it's like the team fucked up. Like I've seen so many sports games where it's like
they fucked up on purpose.
They fucked
up on purpose, though. It was on purpose. They knew this would happen. Do you think these people are dumb? You think they didn't know that Biden had these problems a year ago? Come on. They knew. They don't want to have an election. Bernie scared them. And they don't want an election.
That dude had, can you imagine, like, if you go back to a different timeline and Bernie wins, can you imagine what this country would look like right now if that dude actually won? Like, maybe he would have had an uphill battle and he would have been fucking taken out, or who knows. But, like, oh my God, that would have been.
They wouldn't allow it, man. They wouldn't allow it.
Because he was going to help people.
He was. Maybe he wouldn't have been able to. But
he wouldn't have been able to. But here's the deal about Bernie. You and I are going to agree with this. In his heart, he wanted to help people. Like, for the right reasons.
He was authentic. But they wouldn't let it. They worked really hard to stop him, and they fucked themselves.
That's my whole thing, is when you come right down to this, it's like, if you really back up and look at the forest through the trees, right? But like, what are we doing? We're all trying to get our money and take care of ourselves and get corporations and all this. It's like, what? Shouldn't we be helping each other to make life easier? Like, if we all put our human collective into how can we make sure that we're all taken care of? And all, shouldn't we have the technology and the brain power and the resources to do it? But instead, we're like, let's fucking get a man on Mars, or let's do like.
It's all about money, man.
Priorities are fucked up.
Money.
Like the older I get, the more I hate money. Like I hate the concept of it. It's
well, I got good news for you though. I really believe in the next 2 years, roughly, there's going to be some shit.
Oh yeah, what's in your crystal ball, Dan? Do tell.
I think an economic calamity. I think that the gravy train of the military-industrial complex, all the debt that we get, trying to do these wars.
You would like to see China or someone finally pull the card and be like, "Pay up, bitches," like that.
Something's going to happen in the next 2 years. That is my prediction. And I think is your moving out to the country and doing all this a precursor to that? Like, are you? No. Because like I've turned Dan into a prepper. Dan, a little bit.
Dan, Dan wasn't a prepper. Dan, I got a different totally. Do you have a box of tools? Do you have like a toolbox, Dan?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, good. I was worried about you.
Look, I'm not like you, but I went. It's a scale, right? Right. It's not being a prepper is not like being pregnant, right? It's a scale. No. You have the people who are off grid with a bunker and enough food for 4 years. Like that's 100, right? And then you have 0, the people who are in the city who have no food,
think everything's fine,
who thinks everything's great. That's 0, right? You're a 80, 85, right?
You think I'm wow, that's pretty cool.
You're not 100. You're not.
No, that's a high score from you. I'm happy. Well, I do.
You're 80. You're 80. I mean, yeah.
I do.
I'm a 58.
Oh,
right?
You're moving up, bro.
Yeah, I don't. The difference is when I talk about a calamity, I don't mean like there's no water, there's no food. I don't mean that. I just mean major economic downturn where you see major austerity happen. Social Security gets hit, Medicare gets hit. I just think, I think the merry-go-round's going to have to stop. I don't know when.
But when you think about that, in your area of Florida, how does that manifest? Are there people that are needing things, that are wandering the streets, like that don't have any food, that are literally wandering the streets and like, hey man, I need some food?
Well, not where I live now because I'm kind of rural, but
like, what's your next Gainesville? Like, do you see that? Like, it's a college town.
A lot of homeless there. A lot of homeless. Yeah. So I don't know how this is going to shake out, but I do think it's going to be a calamity. Like, we're due for a calamity. The last time we had was 2008. It's been 15 years. We're due. And part of the reason I think Trump's going to win is I think the owners want to blame it on him and then get you all hot and bothered for Gavin Newsom in 2028. So that's what I think. And we'll see what happens. But I think I just have a feeling. I have a feeling. I mean, I get this, prepper tingles too. Like, and my I've been a prepper for a long time, ever since the Katrina happened and they hoarded people into that fucking Superdome. Like, I thought, oh my God, they do not, like, that's what did it for me. That single event. I'm like, the government's hoarding people into this fucking Superdome. This is not going to work. But lately my ideas on being a prepper has sort of changed a little, where I thought it was like, look, just me and Ro, let's have a bunch of food, let's get a bunch of ammo, we'll hold our fortress and stuff like that. And that might be true, but you know what you sleep on is the idea of community. Now, it kind of goes against the antithesis of what as long as I take care of me, I'll be fine, take care of myself, like, the toxic individualism. There is a real something to be said about meeting your neighbors, getting to know them, and sort of not bringing them under your wing, but just as a step, you might want to know what they're about and what, talk to them, because you'd rather have them on your side than have them an enemy. You know what I mean? So like, I got to know who's around me. Like, I've been making friends with the old guy across the street. This old guy across the street is a prepper. He's got, he invited me over for a sandwich, and I went to his kitchen and he's got these 2 enormous safes. And I'm like, what's in there? He's like, oh, lots of guns. And I'm like, damn, dude, I know what house I'm breaking into the minute the shit. Yeah, I
No,
So
but
I have.
you gotta go.
Watch this. You can
What's
sort of
this?
see right here.
Yeah, Dan the Heeb is blocking that. Who's that?
That's the
Is that
wife.
Kara?
She just texted me an order confirmation. She apparently bought a chicken, at least one.
Hold on. Is that Kara behind you?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Kara?
She can't.
Bruce the Goy. Tell her I said hi.
Bruce says hi. She's sneaking new chickens. So more
Good.
chickens. You like chickens? 6?
How many?
You ordered 6 chickens?
Yeah. Hey, how many eggs a day? How many eggs a day are you producing?
We have 4 chickens right now. We get about 3 eggs a day, and we don't even eat that many eggs. We just like the chickens.
I love
likes the chickens, and we have nowhere to put these. I don't know what her plan is.
So you and Kara both are not a big fan of eggs?
Nah, not really.
Dude, I eat about 5 eggs a day. I love eggs.
Bruce, if you lived here, I could keep you in eggs.
I would just eat eggs all day long. Hard boiled, fried, fucking omelets, and eggs.
More chickens means you know what it means? Here's a quiz, Bruce. What does it mean? What did we learn early in our podcast?
More chickens mean everything becomes Dan's problem.
Exactly. You got it on the first try. That's right. That is the story of my life. Everything
also means more chicken poop. It means more chicken poop, which means more excellent fertilizer.
More fertilizer. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We have to name them. I mean, right now I got Sandy Duncan, Busty Rhonda, Shirley, and Darcy.
Every chicken has 2 names?
No. Sandy Duncan, we named her because she has only one eye. Remember the actress had like a glass eye? Sandy Duncan?
That's an old-ass reference, bro.
I know. I am old.
They get younger
now
than
I'm going to wrap it,
bro.
man. I gotta get some stuff done on the farm. We're going down tonight for the pancakes at 4:30. And then on the way back, I'm picking up some stall mats, Bruce. You jealous? Stall mats.
Stall mats.
Yeah. Like
you must be spending $100 a day on the minimum of just life. Every time you walk out the door.
No. So this is the thing. This is where Ro would have a seizure.
Yeah, she would not.
When we moved into here, the whole point of doing the trailer was that I could sell my house, not have a house payment while we're building the house, right? So I have no home insurance. I have no mortgage. It's cheap. For the next 10 months to a year, I won't have a housing payment. So I said when we moved in here, whatever I got to spend to make my life easy the next year, I'm going to spend it because I don't have any other expenses right now, right? Whereas Ro, in my situation, would be like, oh, good, I can hoard more money. Me, I'm spending whatever I got to spend. Whatever I got to spend. If I got to bribe someone to put up carport, I'm going to do it. Stall mats are for the pigs. That's not for me. But yeah, I mean,
nice.
Anyway, yeah, I'm spending. Drunken sailor for sure. Throwing money around. I am.
I love it, buddy. Well, listen,
if you were here, man, boy, you could be making big bucks as my general labor henchman. I should have flown you in.
You should have, and like I wouldn't. But here's the thing: I don't want to do labor myself. I've got a fucking torn meniscus. But what I can do is order people around.
Clap them
along. Hey, Fuentes, did you get that done? Move that chicken coop over there. I got 6 more chickens coming in. I need you to make sure that structure is built. Yeah. Let's go. Chop. Underlay. Rapido. Let's go.
Rapido. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. We're gonna do our outro. Let's do the happy one as the outro.
All right, let's do the happy one.
And then I appreciate everyone for tuning in. We're back on our weekly schedule.
Yeah, man, we're back. I'll try to have some more material for next time. I don't know.
No more boring political talk next time. We'll do.
Yeah, I know. Nobody likes that.
We'll talk about restaurants and food and people.
Let's get back to food and pooping and sexual stuff.
Yeah. All right. Peace out.